is Dermot Dunn, and this is part 3.5. I think this is the last bit, and it's nearly 7:10 in the morning. This is nothing new for me to be awake for so long because of the PTSD, but if something doesn't make sense, like I said before in previous videos, please ask. If you need me to clarify something, if you want me to explain something in slightly more detail, I will. Okay? I'm tired, but I've got to get this last bit out, so I don't want to waste any more time just chatting generally. The situation in terms of when they were talking about, but she was vulnerable, even though she wasn't, and that is clearly stated in another video or two, because nothing that she stated comes close to vulnerability. But yet, they knew I was diagnosed with clinical depression in 2017, and then, which includes the anxiety part. And anyone who suffers from depression, anxiety, will know exactly what I mean. I never knew what depression used to be. Do now. And then the PTSD in 2020. Not a single mention of that I was vulnerable. Also, nothing mentioned, because they didn't want to touch on this. God, it would have been dreadful. So if there was an actual report in relation to her making a report in relation to her druggy ex controlling, from what she told me, controlling, locking her in a bathroom, inviting friends around. As soon as was practicable, when I left her house that time in 2020, the October 2020, and I was straight down to the doctor's. Blood tests. Thank God there was nothing. But I've continued to have the blood tests on a yearly basis anyway. But in all these years, nothing. Another lie, and I did ponder on this for a second, but I thought, do you know what? Fuck it. She had made out in these stories about seeing somebody else and claiming that she was raped by a police officer. But, and I'm not sure her friends, because she came clean about this a couple of months prior. I remember going around to see her one time in 2006, and this would have been around the April. And she claimed she had a fall at work. Now, she subsequently claimed, I never worked on the shop floor, I always worked behind the counter. And yet when she made the crime report for her son's bike being stolen, not hers, her son's, is that she was a shop floor assistant. Now, I did a bit of part-time work in a shop, and you work on the floor and you stack shelves. So anyway, and when I arrived in, she was just wearing a dressing gown. And next thing, she took it off. She had something like a shimmery thing underneath. But proceeded to show me bruising all the way up her leg, all up along her right side, and she was fucking bruised. I thought, what the fuck happened to you? And she's like, I had a fall at work, I was stacking stuff, and I decided to climb up on one of the cages that you see, and they wheeled them out, like milk or other produce in a store. She had claimed that she was trying to stack one of the higher shelves and decided to climb onto it, but it fell, and it fell on top of her. And that's what I believed for a long time, until she decided to come clean and say it was actually because she'd been arrested in 2006, in the early part of April 2006. During all of these bits and pieces, I made mention of it, and we ended up, and I've got the crime report, the fact that she was done for assaulting a police officer and criminal damage. And she was out with another bloke. Like I said, she tried to make claim that I was the only person that she was seeing. That was a lie. I knew she was seeing other people. Well, she knew I was seeing other people. There was while we were seeing each other. We made no bones about that. So she also seems to forget that I had her. Clearly, I'm not going to show you the custody picture. Doesn't look good. And I have a copy of her precons. So the person that she was with, he had committed some kind of an assault, common assault. He was being arrested. Clearly she had a few drinks in her, lost the plot, and the report states that she whacked a police officer on the head 3 times, continued to kick off, put to the floor, brought back to the station, Dunstable, when it was still a police station, kicking and screaming, and kicked off in the cell constantly. Other things were going on in there. Never knew anything about this. So clearly, if I had accessed systems, I would have been able to see all of this. Obviously, this happened after we'd met, but I would have found something else for an offence that she'd committed back in 2002. And if that came to pass, she shouldn't be in the job that she's in now. But clearly she maybe used a different name. So, clearly being scared of me and all the rest of it. So it makes you wonder why all these years about lying and stuff and not seeing me, yet I was at a party because there was a picture shown, and then it was like, well, maybe he was at that party, even though she denied that we'd seen each other. But I'm going to show these. So she gave me that. That was in her bathroom. A present from Sorrento. Sorry for the bald spot. It's age. Bertie's. Toy. A personal made toy with my name on it. Clearly so scared. So scared that she gave me these gifts. And a bag full of other things. Policey postcards. Sunglasses. Something else she got on her holiday. And there's DVDs. Denied. How can you deny that? Because for any of her friends watching, you know. Why do I have this stuff? The intention is at some point, and the other reason why I haven't mentioned her name is, if the opportunity comes along and I get a chance, and if I get my hands on any money that I'm able to take, and I'm not here looking for money off anyone, so don't even think that. But if I happen to get a few shillings together, I will take her for defamation of character. The fact that she lied in relation to the abortion as well. Why didn't Bedfordshire Police turn around and do her for fraud? And we're going to get on to a lot more about Bedfordshire Police in terms of this investigation and a whole new thing. That could be a lot of videos. So, it's gone 7:15 in the morning. My brain is fried. I had to get this out. There might even be 1 or 2 things that come up. Take care.